Hello there, and welcome to today's episode of the Easy EdTech Podcast. My name is Monica Burns, and I am so glad that you're here to join me today. If you want to make the most of education technology, aka EdTech, well, you are in the right place. My goal has always been to help make EdTech easier and give you ideas you can try yourself, share with a colleague, or bookmark for later in the school year. Every Tuesday here on the Easy EdTech Podcast, you'll hear stories from my time in the classroom, the work I do now with schools and districts, and my travels to different EdTech events. Get ready for solo episodes where I share some quick tips and stories, and interviews full of practical ideas and stories from new guests each month. If we mention something you'd like to check out, make sure to click the link. You'll find it in the episode description or the summary area where you're listening to this podcast, or you can find every episode and all of the resources we mention by going to classtechtips.com/podcast, or by going to classtechtips.com and just clicking on the Easy EdTech Podcast button at the top of the page. This episode is sponsored by my Easy EdTech Club, a membership designed to help K-12 educators save time and simplify technology integration. When you join, you'll get instant access to dozens of months' worth of content from the past couple of years, plus new masterclasses, guides, and resources each month. It's all self-paced, so you can dive in whenever it works for your schedule. Head to easyedtechclub.com to learn more and sign up. That's easyedtechclub.com for all the details. Today's episode is all about using AI in the reading classroom or anytime kids are reading. We know that reading takes place in every subject area, and artificial intelligence, or AI, might be able to help you support the readers in your classroom. We know that this technology is far from perfect, but definitely getting stronger. And I often view it as a way to scale your impact or do all the things that you wish you could do, but just don't have the time or capacity for. And today in this episode, we'll talk about ways to create supplemental content for students at a variety of reading levels, or design learning activities that help them share their reading experiences more widely. And, sometimes I think of this as tackling items on your instructional wish list, or those things that you know would have an impact, but you just don't have the time or resources to create otherwise. And whether you're teaching reading strategies in an English language arts classroom, maybe introducing more text into your next science lesson, or helping kids with a close reading of a primary source document in a social studies classroom, the possibilities for leveraging AI, are truly endless. It's really what you dream up. And as you're sifting through tools and trying to make the most of AI-powered educational experiences, you can really anchor your practice and strategies and decide on the tool that helps meet your goal. And when I work with educators, who are in different roles, our goal is really to put that task before apps or learning front and center, and then just finding the best tool to help get the job done. So in today's episode, I'm going to share a handful of strategies, a handful of tools, and hope that you will pick just a few that connect to your goals, your intention for using technology during this upcoming school year. So let's get into the list of ways to use AI to support your student readers. First up is create a podcast. You can make an audio companion to a piece of reading material as a way to introduce or extend a text experience. Notebook LM has gotten a lot of attention. I've got plenty of blog posts and podcast episodes on it, but I also appreciate the simplicity of Elluminate. This is one that I shared in a couple presentations at the ISTE Live conference earlier this summer. With Elluminate, it's also from Google. They have a short audio overview on a selection of books that are in the public domain, and it gives you the ability to use the create feature to even make an audio overview connected to a link that you share. One thing I mentioned in the presentations is that this doesn't work with every piece of text on the web. Like if you have a New York Times article that is behind a paywall, even if you can get like your 2 or 3 articles for free a month, like that's one that it won't work with. I found a lot of success pulling current events articles from Time Magazine's online website. And so that might be a place to get started. The next strategy is to read text aloud. And I often feature audio generated by AI when talking to educators. That was actually one of my ISTE Live sessions this year because there's some novelty to it, which is, exciting, but there's also an ability to really reach more students with these tools. Speechify is one that brings celebrity voices to life, like Mr. Beast or Snoop Dogg, kind of silly on the surface, but it could help read a wide variety of texts aloud to certain students who would benefit from that. Next up is to make memory games. If you're looking for a vocab activity, a memory or matching game, you might want to try out Padlet. Padlet TA lets you add a link to a piece of reference text, like an article hosted online. You can say it's for this grade level, it's for this objective, and it can create an interactive matching game for you. I've got a post in partnership with Padlet from, I think, January of this year. So super fan of all things Padlet. Next up is to design some interactive graphic organizers. You can create some supporting content for readers, and you can do this by making custom graphic organizers for them. Diffit, I'm a big fan of them. I partnered with them to create some custom graphic organizers. They're not up on the blog yet. I'm going to officially announce them in August, but if you want them early, I did give them to some people early at the ISTE Live conference. You can go ahead and send me a DM and I'll let you check them out and remix them if you want to. But with Diffit, you can actually enter in a title of a book or a topic that might fit with what you're doing, and it's going to create a collection of interactive resources to choose from, including graphic organizers. So far on our list here, we've got create a podcast, read text aloud, make some memory games, and design interactive graphic organizers. I've got 3 more for you in today's short episode. Next up is to use images to illustrate vocabulary. If you want students to keep a journal of their reading experiences, you might ask them to include vocabulary words that are new or noteworthy. There's an Adobe Express integration in Book Creator that lets students add AI-generated images to their page. Great option for helping kids describe a vocabulary word, maybe create a unique picture for their reading journal. So this would put kids kind of in the driver's seat for creating some images to illustrate vocab in your reading classroom or in any classroom where you're working with some domain-specific vocabulary. Next up on the list is to create quick quizzes. There are a handful of AI-powered tools that help you create quick quizzes based on reading materials. This is super helpful if you've got a piece of short text or even a topic in mind, and you want to create some questions that foster discussion or check for understanding. If you already have a piece of text, you could use a tool like Brisk Teaching. I did a post in partnership with them for back to school last year because they now have an Edge and a Chrome extension. So you could use that tool to create questions related to a resource. Now, the last one on our list is a favorite. I did a whole podcast episode on this, and I want to include it in this list because I think it's really worthy of another shout out. You can do this next strategy with any chatbot. Gemini, ChatGPT. I've been a big fan of Claude recently. If you listened to my vibe coding episode, you heard me share all about that. And this strategy is to make a reader's theater. Now, this is great for all grade levels where you have students who are reading independently, all the way up to high school. You could do this in a science classroom, right? So really up to you. This is where you would use an AI chatbot to create some custom reading materials, like a script, which like a reader's theater. And as a classroom teacher, I always found that finding those just right leveled resources was a huge challenge. I would go into our levels reading library. We had like this room in our school I think it was down the hall. It wasn't down the hall for me. I think it was the floor up and down the hall. And it had all of these leveled passages. And it was a lot, right? To try and find something that was going to be just right and interesting and connected to the content that we were doing. So this type of reading material, when you make a reader's theater, well, it's essentially a script for students to read aloud and can help them practice fluency, spend time with academic vocab, and course content too. So you can use that chatbot that you love, your favorite one, and say something like, generate a reader's theater script aimed at ninth grade students to explore the concept of renewable energy sources, include characters representing solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal energy, discussing their benefits and challenges. And if you do something like this, you could also add reference material. You could add a vocab list, or you have that upload button on all of these chatbots, and you could give even more instructions than these 2 sentences I just read aloud for you. So all of these strategies leverage AI in different ways to create some supplemental resources to share with students, your student readers, really in any subject area. And I hope you don't choose all of these on the list to do tomorrow, right? Maybe just pick 1 or 2 to try out in the next week or so, right? And keep others in your back pocket, or maybe share with a colleague if you think, oh, that's not for me, but that's for so-and-so, so that they have this to explore. So let's make this EdTech easy with some key points from today's episode. Use AI tools to create supplemental reading supports at multiple levels without starting from scratch. Anchor AI use in clear instructional goals and choose tools that directly support those outcomes. Leverage audio, visuals, and interactivity to help kids engage with text across content areas. Use AI to tackle your instructional wish list and scale strategies you don't have time to build manually. Remember, you can find the show notes and the full list of resources from today's episode by heading to easyedtechpodcast.com and finding this episode. This number is 381. This episode is sponsored by my Easy EdTech Club, a membership designed to help K-12 educators save time and simplify technology integration. When you join, you'll get instant access to dozens of months' worth of content from the past couple of years, plus new masterclasses, guides, and resources each month. It's all self-paced, so you can dive in whenever it works for your schedule. Head to easyedtechclub.com to learn more and sign up. That's easyedtechclub.com for all the details. Thank you for listening to this new episode of the Easy EdTech Podcast. I love creating new episodes for you each week, but I could use a bit of help spreading the word about the podcast. Can you leave a rating or review on your favorite podcast app? Spotify will let you tap on the stars, and Apple Podcasts will let you tap on the stars and leave a 1 or 2 sentence review. Thank you so much for taking this extra step. It helps other educators find episodes like this one when they're searching for EdTech tips.